I saw that there was a gameplay trailer for GTA 6, but I don't know if that's true because
It's
the
not
internet
real.
likes to lie.
Yeah, they're liars.
All
I've
lies.
seen
The only
like
trailers for
6 of them.
GTA. The only trailers for GTA coming out are the ones where if you don't have an 8K TV, it won't make any difference because all they're bragging about is that it's coming out for the PlayStation 5. Like, it's an 8K now, but nobody has that TV. You're like, cool.
Like, and now on PlayStation 5 and Xbox One X and S, Grand Theft Auto 5 remastered.
For the
Dude, I
sixth
want-
time.
Because of all the GTA 5 remastering and re-releasing, I just want to go play GTA 4 again.
I never finished it before.
4 is so good though. Like it's worth a replay.
Roma.
I have not.
Nico.
I never finished it. The last mission I did was the bank heist with Packy, where it turns into heat, and it's awesome. And then that was just kind of the height of GTA 4, and then other games came out, and I quit playing after that point.
Yeah,
But
that's
like,
not even that far in, really.
it's really not. I know. Like, it's the end of Packy's little storyline, but he's
Yeah.
a side. It doesn't matter. Like,
Huh.
I don't even think I unlocked all of the, like the 3 islands of Liberty City to drive to.
Right.
I
Jeez.
got to the point of where I was going to save Roman from the warehouse,
Mhm.
and I could just never get past that level. And the same sort of thing, like I just lost
Oh.
interest. More games came out, and I was like, oh, here's Grand Theft Auto 5. What is this?
I could be 3 people, but 2 of them fucking suck. Awesome.
Wait,
Now,
which
here's the
2
thing.
are the ones that suck?
Exactly. Everybody has 2 that suck, and they're always different. That's the thing, is I might like Michael and Franklin, but not like Trevor, where somebody else would be like, dude, Trevor and Franklin are the best, and Michael can fuck off. And the
That's
other guy
me.
is, see? Everybody likes 2 and hates 1, and whether
I'm-
you agree or don't agree, everybody likes 2 and hates
I'm
1.
Franklin and Michael, and Trevor. I'm glad that he died.
Oh, Trevor's my favorite. Just because he says
I
such
love
random
Trevor, but
shit.
he's number 3.
I'm
Oh.
I'm Trevor and Franklin. Michael can fuck off. I don't give a shit about a shitty dad. Like, go away.
I like Franklin because he can slow shit down when you're driving super
Dude, I
fast.
love
Yep.
driving.
And Trevor just says the most outlandish shit, and he'll wake up wearing like just his underwear.
But
Yep.
he does have the best missions. The rampages are the best part of the game.
They're pretty good.
Yep.
The alien that when Michael has to fight the aliens because he gets high.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I never beat that game 100%. I beat the story mode, but I couldn't. There's like some missions I couldn't find,
Yeah.
so
I remember when you 100% in Red Dead.
yeah, that was cool. The last thing I had to find was a fucking seagull.
I remember getting the barely legal achievement on the first Red Dead, where you had to kill 18 bears.
Oh, I was gonna say I
Well-
did it at the high school, but that was different.
Heyo.
I didn't fuck any bears in high school. Wait, what?
He
That
waited
was
until
my-
he graduated.
That was in my 20s.
Santa Claus may have Blitzen and Prancer, but you come to South Umpqua to see Robin Miller's Lancer.
I'm glad we're recording.
Well.
That's back-to-back weeks again. I know
Look
it.
at that.
Look at me doing it.
You
Look
doing
at
it.
me doing it.
All right, man. Are you ready for a good ass show?
No,
Cool.
No. I'm ready for a great show.
All right, here we are. We're back again. It's another edition. It's another episode of my show. And maybe we're just trying too hard, when really it's closer than it is too far. But it's that guy over there.
It's me, it's Alex. They keep inviting me back, probably because they're dumb, but mostly so I can be introduced by the best to ever do it, that guy right over there.
It's
Over
me.
there.
It's One Take Jake back in the saddle again. Jewish Hamilton on the set, ready to lock it down. But we are joined by the third man in the booth, the mouth of the Deep South. It would not be the show that we know and the show that we love without him. What's that noise that Alex just made?
It was me I was dropping the tablet. I didn't want the screen and it,
Hey, what's up? It is Robin and Alex's noises. What's up, guys?
L.I. Yeah, yes.
Yes.
yes, yes.
Well, welcome to my show.
So that's new.
So earlier in the evening, Alex sent us a text message and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna be late," which isn't an uncommon occurrence, but it's also, who cares? Whatever. We're having a good time.
Yep.
And so we of course overreact and tell him that it's completely unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And my piece de resistance line was holding egregious, which absolutely.
But hold on, there was the prompt to it is different because
Okay, yeah, tell it from your perspective, sir.
Tell him, Steve, Dave.
I'm sitting over here, right? And so I was peer pressured, and trust me, it didn't take a lot of peers or pressure to get me to agree, but I was peer pressured into getting drinks after work with coworkers. And there are a handful of coworkers that I actually like, and coincidentally, all of them banded together to be like, we're getting drinks after work and you're coming. And I was like, all right, fine. Fair enough.
Seems fair.
And
Yeah.
so based on the drinks, the camaraderie, the festivities, and the commute home, I knew I was going to be, call it 10 minutes late, right? I think I officially made the recording call about 5 minutes late, but it took me another 5 minutes to get situated anyway. So 10 minutes late. And so I say, hey guys, 10 minutes late. And I get bullshit. And then just fucking cancel the whole thing. Right? And so then I responded with just usually, right? I was just like, yeah, usually makes sense. Yeah. And I was like, but I will be drunk, and that always makes for a better show. And then Robin says, I'm done. This is an unmitigated outrage.
I have been verily rooted.
And that's when Jewish Hamilton comes over the top with holding egregious, which I'm standing in the middle of the parking lot of my employment, and unplugging my car, and I lose it. I'm laughing so hard because of the throwback when I was still in the apartment with Romo. Romo's gone doing something that
probably
Romo does.
Working. I was a bum.
I mean, I also was a bum. So what? Yeah, I think I was selling cell phones, making below minimum wage. Yeah, Jewish is doing whatever Jewish is doing. Romo's the one making all the money, paying my bills,
paying for the blue box rating.
Yeah, and we're chilling, and as per usual, we're drinking, having a good time, and we decide to put on a YouTube video of Oregon against Michigan. Dennis Dixon, Chad Henne when we beat them.
Yeah.
The Hail Mary Statue of Liberty.
Statue of Liberty. We're watching this game in the background while we're bullshitting, having a good time, right? We've all seen it. It's all good. Just having it, no big deal. And on one play, however many years before this, at live, right? The Michigan holds, and so we don't make the tackle. Boom, running back breaks it for a first down or something like that. Not even that big of a deal in a game that Oregon ultimately won.
It was up by 30 points when this happens.
Right.
In the middle of our drunken conversation during a YouTube playback of a game that's a decade old, Jake just stops everything. He yells, holding egregious! As if we're in Autzen Stadium, where the game was not played, by the way, but as if we're in Autzen Stadium watching it live in the student section or something. Like, this is the biggest deal and the most heartbreaking moment of his sports life.
Well, the best part about it too is the game's on. We're not even really watching it, and so I just look up and I see it, And holding.
And he says it. And the subsequent best part of this night is, coincidentally, it's also the night we decided to name it Red Arrow.
Yeah.
The same night.
Ah.
It was amazing. We were chilling, having a good time, and he tells me, and honestly, I don't even remember the wrestler's name.
Well,
But
his
he
name
says,
is Pac now. He's in AEW.
Okay.
AEW. Her.
Pac from AEW, who wasn't Pac and also wasn't in AEW at the time. He tells me, you know, my favorite finishing move? It was called the Red Arrow by whomever Pac used to be named. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And he goes, no, it's come here. It's rad. And he looks it up on his phone and he shows it to me. And it is, by all accounts, a fucking rad as shit finishing move.
I gotta look this up
Yeah,
And
it's like
this-
yeah.
because I don't remember it.
And this is
Neville.
the height of us like actually writing Power Tech. This was when it was a daily, by worst case scenario, weekly conversation of Power Tech, right?
Mhm.
We are actively writing and editing scripts.
Conceptualizing.
And
It's
I
a
was like, dude,
shooting star press with a full 360 twist in it. Okay,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
you.
It's
and
rad.
I just just hammer drunk after holding and egregiousness. I just say like, dude, we gotta name it like Red Arrow, like publishing or comics or
It
something. And
started
he was like,
as publishing.
yeah. And then we decided to go to Red Arrow Production because we want to break into everything, right?
Other
Movies,
things, right?
video
Yeah.
games, comics, podcasts, whatever. But it was Red Arrow Publishing. I was like, that's what we got to name it, dude. And he was like, hell yes.
Then we found out that there's like 4 other Red Arrow productions, but we don't fucking care. Fuck
don't
you
care.
guys. You don't have a podcast.
We're the only good one.
Right.
And I was like, at first there was outside pressure, I think from Romo initially, and then some other comic book fans, because obviously like Red Arrow is a DC character already, right? There's
Right.
Green Arrow and his buddy Red Arrow, and I said this works out great because we aren't creating characters. I don't think they can sue us over it, but it will bring attention to the name if we get big enough and people want to know about Red Arrow the character. Red Arrow Publishing will also slide on in there. And so far, it hasn't been a problem. So I'm going to say that I was technically right.
Yeah, no
Not one
CMDs
cease and
yet.
desist. Yeah.
Not even a little bit. So
Devin Allen just finished 4th in the 110 hurdles.
Well, son of
Final.
a bee.
So close. 1/10 away from first place.
A 10th.
Yeah. It's like that Jerry Seinfeld bit he used to do. He would talk about the Olympics and he's like, yeah, you watch the Olympics and that guy that wins that gold, greatest guy in the world. And then the guy who gets the bronze, never heard of him. So you're running the race of your life and you're separated by 6 inches. You got the greatest guy in the world, never heard of him. And it's just Devin Allen is the never heard of him of this story.
It reminds me, what was it on Sports Night when they do this guy broke the world record, but nobody cares because someone else beat him and also broke the world record.
Yeah.
yeah, that was
happened last night.
Well, that also happened the year that Drew Brees set the single season passing record. Matthew Stafford also threw for more yards than Dan Marino did when Dan Marino first set the over 5,000 yard single season record. But nobody gave a shit that Matthew Stafford beat Dan Marino by 80 yards in the season because Drew Brees beat him by like 200 yards that season. Yeah. It's like,
It's like, sorry.
Well,
Brees strikes again.
The guys in the 400-meter hurdles yesterday, it was yesterday or day before, whatever, this week, 2 guys broke the record that it stood for 29 years, and the guy who gets second is the American. Like, okay, well, you got a silver.
There you go.
Cool. Yeah. Dan Patrick was talking about that this morning. That I guess both those guys running the 400-meter hurdle would have medaled in the 400
without hurdles. Yeah,
They would have
that's just
silver
insane.
and bronze
Yeah,
in the 400-meter not hurdles.
That's so crazy.
They can jump over things faster than the rest
Yeah.
of them, up to
They're
the
like-
gold medal winner.
They're like, this running around the track is not hard enough. Put 10 things in the way for us to jump over, and we'll go do that and still be faster than
And
almost
still
everybody
be
in the world.
faster Than everybody but the one
Crazy!
guy. Yeah.
It's insane. It's crazy. The
Yeah.
Olympics are the best. But you know what I don't get? Is
What
the
don't you get?
fucking colors that some of these teams wear.
Okay.
So I had to do some research and I figured that out today. So here's my list of the 3 teams that pissed me off the most. And they're actually in backwards order. But we're gonna start
So,
with Australia.
Number 3.
Australia. Why does Australia
Wait. I'm gonna give you a Paul Schaefer.
Oh, shit.
Number 3. Yeah.
Number 3, Australia. Why does Australia wear green and yellow and their colors of their flag are red, white, and blue? Well, turns out their flag actually used to be green and yellow and red. So when they so here's what it says. There's a lot of debate, blah blah blah. Basically, in the last century, they've decided that their colors, because they had come from an English England, basically, that's why
Prison
they're gonna
colony.
wear. That's why their flag is that color. But they're like, let's just wear those other colors anyway because nobody else really wears them. There's too many red, white, and blues already.
True.
Yeah, green and yellow is the best color combination, so good for them.
Yes. All right.
Mhm.
Jake.
Number 2. Oh yeah.
Number 2, the fucking eye ties. Why do they wear blue? I don't get it. Well, turns out in 1366 they wore blue.
Oh.
The light blue color, together with the tricolor flag, is a symbol of Italy. Why blue? The origins of the color date back to 1366 when some guy did something and nobody cares. Blah blah blah. And Jake, one more.
Number 1, baby.
First of all, if you're going to be from the Netherlands, why are you the Dutch? Like, I don't want the answer, really, but fuck off. Second of all, your flag is not orange. Why do
At
they
all.
wear orange?
Not even a little bit of orange.
No, not even close to orange. What color is their flag?
Red, white, and blue.
Red and blue.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
red is kind of close to orange, but still
Yeah.
doesn't count.
So,
It's half of
here's
orange. It's exactly half of orange.
the Dutch wear orange as a symbol of their national unity and to signify national pride. What? Nothing says country pride like wearing orange. Orange sucks.
Nothing says country pride in a country that's red, white, and blue like orange.
Hey, let's
Because when
put
you
on
mix
some
red,
blackface
white-
and pantaloons.
Yeah, when you mix red, white, and blue, what you get is like a light purple, and that's basically orange.
Light purple is basically orange is the name of the episode.
There's nothing in this world. The 2 things in this world that I hate the most are people who are intolerant of other people's cultures and the
bloody
Dutch.
Oh, it's good. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the Olympics are the best, but I just did not understand the colors. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a list. Like at New Zealand, they wear black. I didn't look into why they wear black because I was like, you can wear black. The country next to you doesn't wear their colors, so why should you have to wear yours? Just whatever.
New Zealand wears black because Australia doesn't, and they don't want to be Australia.
Exactly.
Yeah, their
Yeah,
flag is
we're
also
black,
red,
not
white, and
green.
blue.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have the same colors, so
We just picked a color that wasn't their colors.
basically,
Well,
yeah.
we got to differentiate ourselves. We got to find a way. Like,
New Zealand-
what y'all
been
wearing
able-
to the Olympic party? Oh, green and yellow. We're black.
Right.
That was like 6 different
That
accents.
was something.
The first ever Olympics that New Zealand participated in, they were told it was a black tie event, so they all showed up wearing black, and then realized it wasn't, and then they were like, "Fuck it, keep it going."
Yeah.
That they were in Thailand.
Ooh,
There it is. That's the answer.
nailed it.
Yep. And
No,
there's
it
New
makes-
Zealand wearing black.
Oh.
That's funny. Oh, speaking of that's funny, I also analyzed why I say that's funny.
Why?
Uh-oh.
It's because I don't always laugh at things that are funny,
True.
but I'm also of the mindset that things that are funny should be acknowledged, because there's a lot of things that aren't funny that people laugh at, but there's also a lot of things that are funny that people won't laugh at. And I just feel like I laugh at, if I'm laughing, like it's really funny usually. But I
Yeah.
can also identify things that are funny. And so as a mechanism of my own, like, okay, that needs to be acknowledged. That's why I say that's funny. So there's the thing.
That's funny. I find myself saying it too. And I don't know
Dish.
if it's a function of being on the podcast or if it's just a function of the same sort of mindset. Like I don't
Right.
laugh at everything.
Yeah.
So I need to say or laugh or let you know that my laugh wasn't fake or some I don't know.
Yeah. No, it makes sense though. And Deaton and I were talking about that, and that was kind of where, like, I explained that to him, and he was like, "Oh my God, I do that too." And I was like, "See, there we go."
I think I usually end up saying that's funny while I'm laughing. Like it's like I use it as like a reinforcement like of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh
Like
my
I'm
God,
not laughing at you.
yeah, that's so funny. You made me laugh. And I want you to understand, like, that's funny.
Right. And that makes sense too. That's part of it. So I get that.
So keep being funny, people.
Yeah. I like it.
Speaking
I've
of
been-
funny people in the Olympics,
Okay.
have you guys watched the Olympic highlights with Kevin Hart and Snoop
Oh
Dogg?
my God. I have.
It's amazing.
It is top shelf.
They
Like
just smoke a bunch of weed and make fun of the sports.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Kevin Hart is playing it straight, like as straight as he can.
He's trying because
Like
he's
he's
like,
deadpanning the camera.
"Oh."
He's like, coming up this week, we got the Olympics, and we're gonna take a look right now at the triathlon. And we got athletes from all over the world competing in the triathlon. Tell them, Snoop, what's going on with the triathlon? It's like, well, basically they just gotta run into the water. It's like, no, you don't run, you start swimming. It's like, how can you start swimming? You don't start in the water.
Right?
That's stupid. It's just like, and
Like,
they
"Oh, they
just
starting
keep
to say it."
going.
Yeah.
And they like
oh.
it's TVMA because Snoop can't finish a sentence without saying motherfucking.
Yeah. They definitely have jumped that line. They're like, "Fuck it, we're beyond the point of no return. Just
Yeah.
say whatever you guys want." He's
If
like,
we bleep
"Ah."
it,
Yeah.
there's gonna be nothing to hear.
Did you see the meme of them talking about that whole thing? And they're like, "Look, even the way Snoop Dogg sits, he's crip walking, and he's got his feet like out." And then they're like, "I'm not sure if that's what's funny, or if it's that the fact that you can't even see Kevin Hart's feet." It's pretty good.
One's 6'4", the other's 5'4", and they're sitting next to each other. Nice.
Yes,
And then
that
on
was
top
correct.
of that, they brought in Rob Riggle.
Oh, did they? I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was the most recent episode. They brought in Rob
Oh,
Riggle, and so Riggle and Snoop Dogg are just clowning on Kev. Oh, hi, kitty. And then after that, there's these two kids that are like trained in jujitsu and all sorts of shit. They call them the Twinges, and basically like this one kid just basically tries to whoop Kevin Hart's ass the entire time. He's just like, I'm gonna take you down, and Kevin's like, I'm gonna see you backstage. We're gonna find out what's going on. But it's like
You down. He's like, you don't have to go far.
Kevin Hart's natural state is combative, and it's perfect.
Right, it is. I sent you guys the little meme.
The little. All right.
A little,
now,
a
now we
little
record
meme.
seeing this.
Actually regular sized standard issue meme.
Wow.
Standard issue meme would also be a good name.
Standard issue meme would be is a really good episode name.
Really good one.
But yeah, if you haven't watched that show, definitely go and give it a watch because I haven't laughed that hard watching a sports show in a long time.
Where do we see it?
On the cock.
Peacock on the cock.
I definitely pee with my cack.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's for like I busted out the Beavis and Butthead book the other day and was just flipping through it. Like that's the best way to go through the Beavis and Butthead books is just to open it up to a page and just read it.
Yeah.
It was like the bug deaths. It's like this one had too many legs. Yeah, death.
Yeah.
Speaking of legs, hold on. I have a thing, right? Do you remember when I explained to everyone on the show and the listener that we all have an above average
Yeah.
number of arms?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's true.
Yeah. I also found out today, and I think we should discuss it, that centaurs have 6 limbs and therefore are insects.
No,
No, he says.
because the 6 legs is not the only thing that denotes an insect.
That is true.
But name something else on the planet that has 6 limbs and is
An
not
octopus.
insect.
With
An octopus has
minus
8.
two.
Se-
Oh,
Septipus. What about squid?
Yeah, squids.
8.
Squidses.
Look it up. Robin, look it up.
All right. Hey, I got the
Squids
internet right here.
Squidses ain't 6. Insects have 6.
Squidses
Shit,
ain't
but
6
hosts.
is the name of the.
Squidses ain't 6. Insects have 6 limbs. Centaurs are insects.
Do centaurs lay eggs?
I don't. They got 6 legs.
Just because
Boom.
you have
And
6 legs?
also, maybe they do lay eggs. Can you prove they don't?
What does mythology say?
I don't.
Squid have
care.
live birth.
Oh,
I don't know.
oh.
They
I'm saying,
probably lay squids.
they definitely lay squids.
Okay, Squidses has 8.
Squids ain't
okay.
6.
Okay, what animals, what creatures have 6 arms?
I want to know. I'm
Goro.
trying to find.
6 appendages.
What about don't daddy
Limbs.
longlegs only have 6 appendages?
No. They're arachnids. 8.
Arthropods.
What is an insect? Here we go.
Ooh, what about a dragon?
Nope. Here we go. Here's the one thing. Here is the one thing
Dragon's
that
got wings.
would disqualify. Here's the one thing that would disqualify centaurs from being insects. Unfortunately, all insects are invertebrates.
I said exoskeleton.
Yeah.
I mean, just now you did.
Because then a
Mhm.
Pegasus would also be an insect.
Yeah. How fucking crazy would that be? The invertebrates is the only one. I saw the 6. It was on the what is it? Thanks, I hate it subreddit.
Right.
It was just like it was just a tweet and it just said centaurs have 6 limbs and are insects. Discuss. And then someone responded to that tweet and just said, thanks, I hate it. And I was like, yep, it's true. That makes them less cool.
Just giant bugs with swords. That reminds me of the episode of Parks and Rec where Jerry paints Leslie as a centaur woman with her boobs out. And there's this comment like, I feel strangely empowered by this. And she starts wearing her hair with the braid over the top.
Tom Haverford is the little like whatever
Naked baby.
Phil is in. What's Phil in Hercules? Like Danny DeVito's character, the little Philatides.
Oh, he's the
nymph. That's
Yeah.
what it is. It's a nymph.
Yeah.
Tom Haverford is the nymph in the corner, and then
who's the naked baby?
I need to watch Parks and Rec again.
Cupid.
Parks
Now
and
he's
Rec
just a
is one of
stupid
those shows
baby.
that sneaks up on you. Like, you realize suddenly you're 6 seasons in, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? How did this happen?
Well, it gets weird at 6 seasons though too.
Yeah, the final, especially like the last season, like I thought for sure that it was over, and then they came back and they're like, 15 years later. I'm like, no,
that's-
you did it wrong.
That's not how this works.
But here's the thing. It's still pretty good though.
I wasn't a huge
It's
fan
not
of.
terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than
I
no
mean,
Parks and Rec.
I was gonna say nobody's a huge fan of The Office after Michael Scott leaves, but they did it pretty well. And what I'm saying is, Parks and Rec did it pretty well.
I just got to the Michael Scott departure on The Office, and I'm trying to decide if I keep going watching the Jim and Pam show or if I
Yes,
start over.
you keep watching, and then you skip the final episode and start over. That's how The Office is watched. Episode 1 through however many total episodes minus 1, and then you start over.
I also always skip the goodbye song to Michael.
Yeah, that'll get you.
Especially because it gets him. He's like, something's happening.
986,000. Because he didn't know.
Yeah. That's like watching Die Hard 80,000 times.
The one that gets me, and I get legitimately choked up every time I see it, is when Jim goes into the office, into Michael's office.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, no, we'll just say goodbye tomorrow on your actual final day.
Yeah, that's rough.
We don't say goodbye today because you'll be here tomorrow and everything's gonna be fine. And tomorrow we'll say goodbye, and I'll tell you tomorrow how good of a boss you were and how much I love working for all that stuff. And
he's like, I really look forward to that.
And that's the moment.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I am like, deep breath, Alex.
Man tear.
Be strong. It's like, yeah, the tear comes out and then like suck it back into the tear duct. Cool.
We're good.
That's it. But yeah, that's the moment that gets me. Is I can handle the song, I can handle Pam at the airport. I laugh real hard when Phyllis doesn't finish the oven mitts or whatever it is.
Oh yeah.
But or when Michael laughs at Oscar, like, he thinks so little of me. He just
That's the worst. Yeah.
That's so. But when Jim goes in and gives him that little chit chat, I'm like, I
gets you.
Too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of The Office, Robin, you got some Orifice trivia?
I got some Orifice. I only grabbed 3 that I thought might be tough.
Gary.
But I also feel like you guys might just know these. What number did the speed gun register as Dwight ran by
31.
it? Huh?
Oh, no, that's Michael. Michael was 31. Dwight was less than that.
I want to say like 17.
So I have multiple choice if you'd like that.
Yeah.
Okay. 13, 20, or 8.
13.
Yeah. 13. I was
It's
gonna say
easier when you got the number.
31.
Michael ran 12, then Dwight ran 13, and then Michael ran and the car went by and he said 31, 31, and they're like, that's Michael, that's humanly impossible.
Yeah. Michael cuts in front of Oscar. 31. Nope, that's the number to beat. 31.
Okay. What did Andy define as the proper attire for the garden party? Do you want multiple choice? No, you'll get it if I give you multiple choice, or at least I would. Started with a state.
It's like New Hampshire.
Casual.
It's alliteration.
Connecticut casual.
There it is. Nice job. The other
Hampshire
options.
got teamwork.
Yeah. Yep.
Teamwork.
Well, when you said New Hampshire, I was like, wait, is that on here? It's actually Newport Nautical was one of the options, Pennsylvania Preppy, and Connecticut Casual. If I told you those 3, you're good.
Yeah, that would have been easy.
Yeah. Connecticut Casual. That's it.
What did Dwight name his coffee shop after he bought the building?
Oh.
Do you need a hint?
Yeah.
Something corner?
Yes, it is.
Corner?
Huh?
Shroot Corner?
No, it's Dwight's
Caffeine?
something. Yep.
Dwight's Caffeine Corner.
There it is. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork!
Get it. Nice work, boys.
That's it. I was like, it's something.
So I watched a new movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I like movies. I saw that Jungle Cruise movie.
Photos.
I was gonna take Riv, but her mom has decided that I haven't seen her all week. Like, her mom texted me Sunday and was like, Riv wants to do wrestling camp, which I'm sure Riv is like, oh, my favorite thing in the world is to do wrestling camp instead of going to the coast with dad and going to the fair. Whatever. Anyway, so instead of taking Riv, I went with Travis, a guy I used to coach with. He was like, hey, you want to go watch? I'm like, sure. And then I had posted a comment on one of the pictures from last year or 2019's tailgating or watching a Ducks game where we're eating Chinese food. Me and my dad, we brought full Chinese
I remember
meals.
that.
Dude, best idea ever. And I just started commenting on it, and next thing you know, like 4 other people are like having Chinese, and Travis is like, hey, you want to have Chinese? I was like, sure. So we went and got Chinese before we watched Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise has so many dad jokes. I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
The Rock starts off with just dad joke, and they're so good. He says, like, one of them, he goes, I used to work in an orange juice factory, but I got canned. And he's like, I couldn't concentrate.
Ah.
And then he has one more, and I don't remember what it was, but I was like, I almost want to go back just to write down all the dad jokes because they were good. Oh, something about at the end. There's a joke about his first time driving a car, and Jim's wife says, "Oh, I'm exhausted," and I was like, "Oh, oh." But anyway,
Teamwork.
yeah, it's a good movie. Like, I don't did either of you watch Cruella at all,
No.
or have you seen that yet? Like,
Wasn't.
that's a really good movie. And this is right up there with it. So, like, if I were to do a 1 to 10, I would say like both of them were above 8.5.
Oh wow.
So they're
High marks.
really good movies. And oh my god, the kid who gets fat in Breaking Bad, from the meth dealers, what is his name?
Oh,
He
Andrew
gets
from Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, that kid. Yeah, he gets obsessed with the one chick. Anyway, he's on this movie and he's the bad guy. So
Oh,
you've got him
Okay.
and Paul
That-
Giamatti. Paul Giamatti shows up in this movie, and he's in it. He plays a pretty good character. So, yeah, it's a good family movie, but he plays this German, and it's set kind of like in Indiana Jones's era. So he's kind of a Nazi. I'm not sure if he's actually a Nazi, but whatever.
It's like Christoph Waltz. Anything he's in, you're like, is
Dude.
he a Nazi?
He is playing Christoph Waltz, or who was the other guy that played a German in a movie recently? But anyway, he's like, it's almost like he's trying to play Christoph Waltz. Like, as I was watching, I was like, is this Django or not Django, but
The Doctor.
yeah,
Glorious.
Inglorious Bastards, that one.
In Glorious Bastards, he's actually a German,
Yeah,
and in Django, he's just a German bounty
American.
hunter. So
yeah.
like,
But
That's
anyway,
a bingo.
yeah, yes, he's playing that guy. This big old thing gets dropped on him, and he says "Scheiße" as it's falling on him, and I laughed out loud because I know what that is. You know what that is.
Yep.
There's no subtitle of what it is though, so the kids won't know. It's almost like a Shrek level joke. Like, I loved it.
I remember I was hanging out with my dad. We were in Montana, and there was this dude, this drummer in this band called PMT. Like, they were apparently decently big in Europe, and he was throwing tomahawk and knife with my dad, and he goes to throw the hawk, and it sticks in the block, and it just wobbles and falls out, and this big dude just turns around, looks at my dad, and just goes, "Merde." It just, which is French for shit. Is
Oh.
merde. It just moves on. Or they were Swiss. That's what they were.
that's funny. I have a question.
Okay.
How do we?
I got a question
How
for you too.
how does
Mhm.
this podcast react to the news that Scarlett Johansson
Egregious.
is suing like Disney over this Disney Plus theatrical dual release, streaming versus theatrical? She only gets a percentage of the box office profits, not the streaming service profits. And
As an artist, I think she's absolutely entitled to money for the streaming service bullshit. Just because you change the rules of the game doesn't mean that that's not, you're going to report that as your box. So and we got the money from this too.
They did. Not just you're going to. They did report that. So,
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. She should absolutely sue the fuck out of him.
mhm,
And now Emma Stone is thinking of suing because of Cruella.
mhm.
And
But-
now people are asking if Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Emily Blunt are going to sue because of Jungle Cruise.
Yep.
The
Well,
Rock probably won't sue because The Rock doesn't need a lawsuit.
no, but it's not
Yeah, it
about
might
the
be
lawsuit. It's
might be a reputation hit for The
Fair.
Rock, where everybody else, like, nobody thinks less of Scarlett Johansson pursuing, but the public persona, right, of The Rock might be, come on, man, like, you can live without the money. And so he can forego the lawsuit and be okay.
That's
where,
where
like,
that's what I'm saying.
Scarlett Johansson, Emma Stone, even Emily Blunt, like, get your money. The Rock deserves the money, but he's big enough and the PR hit might be
It
crucial enough.
for someone like The Rock, it may seem because he's got another 30 movies that he's going to make. So it may like to me it may seem petty for The Rock to go in. But like I understand if he were to sue, like he deserves the money, absolutely. I wouldn't be
Right.
surprised if he didn't. That's all I'm saying.
you saw Kevin Feige was on Scarlett Johansson's side, right? Did you see that?
Uh-uh.
Oh,
Yeah, he came out and said, I am 100% behind Scarlett Johansson on this. So, like, it's not just about her suing them. I think it's more about her suing them to get them to change the rules because the way the
yeah,
wording is,
to be set.
yeah. So it's just, it's really just, it's less about the lawsuit and more about a way of making Disney and whoever else's HBO like
Account-
go, oh, okay, yeah, I guess we gotta account for this shit and pay these people their money.
Well,
I
I
know
mean, it's the same thing as the NIL. I mean, only in sports.
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's because I know Black Widow specifically, probably Cruella and Jungle Cruise and stuff, all that, all of the contract negotiations and pre-production and all that stuff all happened before COVID. They all
Yeah.
happened before theaters were shut down. And so Scarlett Johansson is going, dot the I's, cross the T's, standard stuff of like, yep, I get 8% of the box office, everything's great.
Yeah.
And then Disney's turning around going, well, there is no box office now because theaters are closed. So we're
Right.
going to put it on the streaming platform and you don't get it. And Scarlett Johansson's point, I assume, is no, I would have said I want 8% of that Premier Access money too if Premier Access would have existed in 2018 when I signed this fucking contract. While
100%.
I'm filming Infinity War, I'm signing my Black Widow contract.
Right.
And like this is so that makes sense. And yeah, we all know Disney does turn around and go, okay, we got $100 million in Premier Access money, and then also $200 million in the box office. So this movie made $300 million opening weekend. No, it fucking did. Like, you guys are assholes.
That's not how counting works.
Yeah, like
They're
and
trying to be math magicians.
pay. What is it? You're an accountant, so just fudge the numbers, Meredith. She needs the money. She
Crunch
doesn't
the
need
numbers
it.
again.
Yeah.
Crunch.
Crunch. She deserves the money, and my guess is there's going to be some sort of out of court settlement where she'll get slightly more than what the box office is calculated to, but probably less than she would make overall.
But she also gets to restructure and renegotiate her contract.
Yeah. And the next wave of Disney Premier Access movies, all of those big stars are like, nope, I want 6% of quote total revenue or something, as opposed to box office gross or however.
And that could also be another arguing point to this whole thing, is that might not even be attributed to that gross. Like they may just see that as, no, that's our profit, that's our back end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, whereas you would normally pay royalties on something played later, this is like because it's a totally new thing. I mean, relatively new.
Yeah, because it's taking the place essentially of DVD sales.
Right. That's what.
For the most part. I mean, there's still people who buy DVDs, but
the music industry went through this whole thing with trying to figure out how to pay people for streaming services, it was like at first it was all every time somebody bought a CD, you buy a CD, you get paid. You buy a CD, you get paid, and then
Put a dollar, get a car.
Pandora
Put a dollar, get a car.
happened,
Put a dollar, get a car.
Vegas vacation.
like Spotify happens, Apple Music, all these other platforms come up, and initially, right, Interscope and Jimmy Iovine were like, "No, man, you didn't sell any records," and everyone's got to go. But it was listened to a million times. I need my 26 cents a stream, just the way I got a radio play and all. And they're going, and now, boom, Drake makes $1 billion because he is streamed 1 billion times, and everybody named Drake wins.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of Drake, the most idiot-based, dumbest question I've ever been asked. Guy at work says something that triggers me to say I was born in Alaska. He goes, "You were born in Alaska?" And I said, "Yep." And he goes, "And you like the Packers?" And I go, "Well, my mom was born like in Wisconsin, right?" That is a normal question to me. When I say I'm a Packers fan and they find out I was born in Alaska, right? Everybody tries to equate sports fandom with geography. It's always the closest team. They're like, if you're born
the rule is if you don't have a team, if you don't have a geographical team, you pick whoever you want.
Everybody knows this. But people who don't assume if you were born in Anchorage, you're a Seahawks fan because they're geographically the closest. And I say, shut the fuck up. But that's a separate thing. So he goes, "Wait, you're born in Alaska, but your mom's from Wisconsin." He goes, "So do you like Drake?" And I was like, I go, "Stop. Are you asking me if I like Drake because I'm in my early 30s and therefore in my mid to late 20s, Drake came onto the scene and is a popular artist of that demographic? Or are you asking me because between Wisconsin and Alaska is fucking Canada?" And he goes, "Well,
The
like
second one.
he's from
I just had a brain embolism.
Toronto, right?" And I was like, first off, he's not from Toronto. He's just from Canada. He reps the Raptors because they're the only team in Canada that matters. And also, no, I'm not a Drake fan because of Canada, Alaska, or Wisconsin. He was like,
Wow.
"Oh, but like you do like Drake, right?" I was like, I mean, I was like, when he raps angry, it's pretty good. Every other version of Drake,
Kiki, do you love me?
Yeah, I was like, Hotline Bling is the worst song I've ever heard in my entire life. And Nicki Minaj and Cardi B both exist. So what's that saying?
Oof.
And this kid kind of laughed, but I was like, dude, because I'm from Alaska and like the Packers, I should be a Drake fan because Canada's in the middle. Like, what? Go Canucks, I guess. Like, by default, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
boy.
yeah, woo! Yeah, I'm a Grizzlies fan too because they moved from Vancouver. Well, fuck off. What?
It's like I disowned the Zombie Sonics.
Yeah. Bye.
What's the Zombie Sonics?
The Thunder.
Oh.
It's
like, what? Zombies? That doesn't make any sense.
It was a perfect reference that 2 of the 3 of us got, and the third one, once explained, was like, "Oh yeah, that's good." I should have got that. Shit. Yeah.
I had something happen at work. I made somebody laugh. I hit him with a depth charge at work.
Oh, God.
So part of what I do is called the bulk pull. So I go and I pull the bulk
I did that this morning.
Heyo. But I go and I pull the greens. There's a depth charge.
Yeah.
That was a deep pull. Keep going.
So I go and I pull the greens for roasting. And so the guy's sitting there and he's like, "All right, so this is the bulk pull area between that pull and that pull." I'm like, "So what you're telling me is that these are the bulk pulls?"
And he was like, "Yeah, and fuck you."
This is pretty much exactly how it went down.
That's a good
And then
one.
you said, and don't drink from that water fountain.
I don't think did I tell Robin, did I tell you about the water fountain thing?
I don't think so.
So there's
Why did you laugh?
because it's funny.
Because it's funny. This is a funny
So
add-on.
yeah, so there's a rule that I'm not
You could
supposed
have
to
said anything. Oh, and also don't use that pen. Like it could have been anything. It didn't have to be
Right.
about any specific thing.
Like I
Anyway,
laughed at don't use that pen.
exactly.
So there are water fountains throughout the building to drink water from because it gets hot.
Yeah.
And one of them is technically on the floor of the warehouse. And now, yeah, this is what it looks like right there.
It's like
Okay.
it's literally like a water cooler, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there's a water
Yeah.
line that runs into it, and it UV treats the water, and I get clean cold water. And
Mhm.
so there's a rule though that you're not supposed to eat or drink anything on the floor. And so someone's like, "Hey, you're not supposed to drink water there." To which I respond, "Well, then why did they put a water fountain here?"
yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And so I've decided because it's my warehouse that there's a perfectly good line painted on the floor. And I say the floor starts there. I'm not on the floor. That's the bathroom. Bathroom's not on the floor.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna smoking section the thing.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
legit. That checks out.
Like my desk isn't on the floor.
Judges?
Ding.
Yes. Yes,
Yep.
that checks out.
The king will play.
The king will play. It's like if they ask me why I'm not wearing a uniform, you know, my grandpa fought in World War II. I ate there last night. Peanut allergy, cashew allergy, MSG allergy.
Come up with your reasons. I've got mine written down.
Keep up, Halbert.
That was a
Or
good
look alive, Halbert. That's what it was.
There it is. Yeah.
You had to use all of them.
It's gonna leave some excuses for the rest of us.
Live up. Oh, I miss The Office.
Well, it's
Time to
on
go
it's on the cock.
God. It reminds me of living in Corvallis when we would go to the top of the cock.
Top of the cock.
Peacock. God, they did have some good breakfasts.
Yeah, they did.
The rest of that town sucks, though.
Yeah, it does.
You heard me.
Bunch of. Oh wait.
Dot.
It reminds that little insider joke reference, whatever you want to call it, to this podcast reminds me of the Louis C.K. bit where he talks about how the only thing more offensive than the N-word is white people saying the N-word instead of actually saying the N-word. Because when you say he said the N-word, what you're making me do, and I'm pretty sure he coincidentally uses the name Karen before Karen was the meme that it is now.
Right.
But he's like, what you're doing, Karen, is making me think the actual N-word, so you get the privilege of saying it and meaning it without the trouble of having said it, and that makes you a cunt. And I was like, pre-canceled Louis C.K. and honestly post-canceled Louis C.K. because he's so hilarious is fucking hilarious. Like, the guy was on point. But that one, that's, yeah. Every single time we're like, yeah, Corvallis, bunch of the listeners
did it to him.
knows what we mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did it to him.
He knows what we mean.
Did you ever hear about the stuff that he did that basically got him canceled?
Yes.
I'd heard I'd seen the 30,000-foot version of it.
Yeah, that's probably good enough.
I mean, it really is like it. I don't know. This here, Alex Maxwell, who has no platform, is about to get canceled. But I'm gonna say, in the spectrum of the Me Too movement that got Louis C.K. canceled, he was the 0 on the 0 to 10 scale of what the Me Too movement was supposed to capture. Like Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby being 10, Louis C.K. is like a 1.
I don't know if I would go that low. Maybe you didn't hear all the stuff because I think he's more like a 7 if we're on that scale.
Then maybe I didn't hear all the stuff because he was going into
girls' dressing rooms and jerking off and forcing young actresses to jerk him off or comedians to like. He was just
Oh,
creepy and weird and
Yeah, that's a 7.
lots
I
of
that's
jerking off
definitely a
things.
7. I heard the Sarah Silverman explanation, which was he would very, very aggressively ask other female comedians, actresses, entertainment business females to watch him jerk himself off in some place, whether it was a green room, a hotel room, his
Yeah.
house, whatever. And every single time it happened, he obtained like quote unquote consent from whoever it was, but it was under the
Dubious
Forced,
consent.
Yeah.
yes, it was under his, from his perspective, the unrealized pressure of Louis C.K.
Because of the implication.
The implication is
The Dennis
you
Reynolds implication.
bingo. And so I was like, okay, if you have Harvey Weinstein over here like actively raping people,
Yeah.
and then you have Louis C.K. being an asshole, those two things don't compare. But if it goes as far as forcing himself into those situations and making them jerk him off or doing it in front of them when they don't want it and those kind of things,
Mhm.
that, yes, 7, 8, 9, that's terrible. But up until this podcast recording, I had heard it was like, hey, you want to watch me do this? And they were like, no. And he was like, come on. And they were like, no. And he was like,
Let's-
it'll be fun. And they were like, fucking fine. And he was like, cool. And then like
Oh.
6 feet social distancing kind of just watch me do this, which is not cool. But if they said yes, it doesn't compare to Harvey Weinstein.
I'm trying to
Right.
think of where I heard,
Brett,
you know,
Brett
it was another
Favre would be a
insider.
0. Brett Favre would
Yeah.
be a 1.
Brett Favre. Yes. That's
Yeah.
a low on the scale.
That's
Hey, I sent her a picture of my pecker. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. Okay, Brett, that's
all right, Greg
right.
Oden. Get out of
well,
here.
that puts what Peyton Manning at like a 2, right?
Peyton Manning's
'Cause-
like a 3.
okay,
Wait,
because he pulled his junk out in front of the trainer in person. So
Yeah.
you're right. If a picture is a 1, the in-person exposure is a 3.
Karl Malone's
And
like a 14 or a
Oh.
13. Let's just make it appropriate.
oh. Oh. Did you guys hear the Deshaun Watson stuff?
Oh
I've heard
yeah.
I've heard he's up to like 25 civil suits and like 12 criminal ones.
Well, like I don't know if I sent you guys the interview from the chick, but she was like, yeah, he was making me. He was saying, I need you to massage into my butt crack, and then he's like, you know, it's okay if you go inside, and she's like, inside your anus? He's like, yeah. No, what? No, and like it just escalated from there.
Wow.
Come on, man.
I love the news last week that all of a sudden the Houston Texans are like, yeah, I mean, we could trade him if you guys wanted him.
Right.
And everybody's like, no, we're good.
It's like
Well,
19 civil charges, no big deal. Oh, 20? Get him
20's
out of
too
here.
much, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
the
can go.
surprising part about that whole thing
Fill
for
it up
me
in Seattle.
is that he's like, he doesn't want it to be disclosed. He wants everything out there. And I'm like, why would you want those stories out there? Well, his version is so that they can't say, well, that he made me sign this thing so I couldn't talk about it. I don't know if I mean, like, I don't want that story out there. I mean, I'm not gonna do that anyway, but I mean, I don't know. That's just weird.
I'm not here to kink shame. But
I'm definitely
rape is
not here to
different.
kink shame. Yeah, but to pressure kink pressure is a
Kink
different thing than kink shaming.
Yeah, that's
You can like getting your butthole fingered. What you
yeah,
can't do is
do you, man? But
use into it.
yeah, I don't.
Which I just want to know if there's like 23 or 24 people who are pressing civil charges against him. How many of these like independent masseuses were like, yeah, I mean, yeah, fuck it, I'll finger your butthole, like whatever. You're paying $100 an hour, cool.
Because he found the 20 or 25 that said no. How many said
Yeah,
yes
like-
and didn't have an objection? They're like, sure. I mean, I'll get in there.
Well, yeah, I'm
See if I
just
can
not
find your dad's watch or something. I don't know.
Hey, I saw this meme.
Jake's gone.
I saw this meme on Reddit. It was like the kids are fucking stupid subreddit, and it was like
God.
it was like me pouring Drano down the bathroom sink. 6-year-old, what are you doing? Me pouring this stuff down the drain that dissolves all the gunk inside. 6-year-old, even the screwdriver that's in there? Me, what? I was like, I can't wait. I can't wait to come home to find out that my kid shoved a screwdriver down the drain. Like, okay. I guess I'll get it out. Like, I don't. All right.
It happens. Well, these people, they could have been anywhere in the world. They're here with us. We appreciate that. Make sure you're checking out our YouTube channel, Red Arrow Productions. Search us on YouTube. That's where Robin is posting the video version of the podcast. We can see our beautiful faces and mine too. But for this episode, this old dude over here, this edition of my show with Alex and Jake. Good night, universe.
Podcast.
Redux.
Redux.